Welcome back to the Connected to the Web podcast. I'm your host, Joe Webb, and I have a super fun lady here today who's got an incredible life story to her journey to entrepreneurship. She's local in the community. She's got a really cool service that I want you guys to hear about. And I am just super pumped. We both are not feeling 100%. It's rainy outside. My dogs are barking in the garage, and you're like, let's do this.
Let's
so
go.
totally a testament to how strong you are. And I'm excited. So why don't you share with the audience the name of your business, and we'll get started on it, and who you are, obviously.
I'm Doree, and I'm the owner and designer of Designs by Doree.
Doree as in the fish?
Yes, like the
Okay.
fish, except I tell people I was here before the fish.
You were here before the fish. Awesome.
So my full name is actually Dorothy.
Dorothy, I was going to ask,
Yes.
took the words out of my mouth.
Yes,
And I didn't ask you that when we had coffee.
So then I always get like the Wizard of Oz. So yes,
Yeah.
just like that. Mm-hmm.
I'm Joseph, like the Bible. So it's a little
Yeah.
less exciting. But okay, so you and I met before to kind of introduce ourselves, and I really enjoyed our time together, and I was just blown away by our conversation. So I would love to share your story. Where do you want to start? Because you have an incredible story with your family business, some things that kind of taught
Yes.
you these skills that you picked up along the way with this broken road that led you to where you are, which I'm excited to share with you. But where do you want to start, hon? So where's your journey start to entrepreneurship?
So my journey started at 14 years old.
Okay.
I remember the summer started, and I was excited to, I grew up 5 minutes from the beach, so I was like ready to get to the beach with my friends. And my dad was like, "Oh no, you're going to start working for me." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I started in his store, his family store on the beach, and that store was like what you see in Ocean City: beach chairs, boogie boards,
Yeah.
anything you need for the beach. That was
The
place to
Surfside
go.
store look
Yes.
with the glass front and some of the
Yes.
apparel up front.
So
Which beach is that?
it's Ocean Grove. It was in Ocean Grove, New Jersey.
Okay.
So Monmouth County. So I started doing that.
MTV watchers would recognize that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, so that's about 20 minutes from Seaside, 25 minutes from Seaside.
Okay.
Where Jersey Shore was filmed.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I got to, I really learned my work ethic from my dad.
Oh,
And as much as I was, bummed about missing summers at the beach with my friends, looking back, I've just learned so much. I wouldn't be where I am in business if it weren't for what I learned from him. And
aw.
definitely,
Have you ever told him that?
yes.
Awesome.
Yes, and
Good daughter.
I recently did a TikTok live where I will sell my shirts on it, and he's very supportive. He watched it, and I did tell him, especially on there, I was like, I would not be where I am today if it weren't for
Aw.
him. So.
Don't make me cry. I've got a daughter now, so everything changed. Like all these boy moments, and I got like dad tears, but like sports. And then with my daughter, the stupidest thing makes me just click and bawl. So all right,
I remember.
that's funny.
I remember just at 14, 15 years old, I didn't want to be getting up at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Ooh.
we would work until sometimes midnight, especially on a holiday. So 4th of July, I would be inside. They had the best fireworks right next to, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Asbury Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Ocean Grove is right next to Asbury Park. And the fireworks there were incredible, but I couldn't be out there watching them. I was inside the store working, and there was always like one or two people that would be just like browsing and not watching the fireworks. I'm like, come on. But it's
That's
definitely
tough. I mean, if you think today what a 14-year-old does on their spare time, it's not go work at your parent's store, unless that parent has a.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that alone is trial by fire, right? I mean, I'm sure there's other things you wanted to do.
Definitely.
At that time, were you resisting?
I was.
Okay.
I was. I remember my mom finally saying to my dad, like, "Hey, can she like at least sleep until like 8:30 or 9 and then, go to work?" Because some days were, 10, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. It was a lot that young. But I mean, looking back, I'm very thankful for it.
So I just realized too, it's not like get up and help open the store because you might be able to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's get up early, help them open, and then work a 10-hour shift.
And then run it.
That's huge.
Yep. Well, I didn't start like running and managing till he opened the t-shirt store, which we'll get into. But
okay,
definitely, it was a lot. We had employees, but it was really just family mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're 14. So 14 is 8th grade, 9th grade, depending on like where you are there.
I think I was in.
Are you in high school yet?
I was in 7th.
So middle school.
7th grade. I think it was the summer before 8th grade.
Okay.
Maybe, or summer before 9th grade.
So fast forward in high school. So you've got things like, school boosting events. You've got high school sports. You've got significant others. You have social circles. and then you have maybe your other friends getting jobs, and then you got proms, dances.
Yes.
Where does your family business fit into all those things?
So the fall and the winter we were closed.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's a great point.
yes.
Okay.
So since it was seasonal, we didn't open. We'll start opening until I would say end of March, April.
Okay.
And then my dad would do all the buying, and then we would do all the pricing. And that was also different. Like he was very old school in the way that it was done. Everything was not tagged. It was just priced on like a white poster board and a table.
Wow.
So I had to remember hundreds of products and their prices, and there was no scanning, and everything was like old school cash register.
I want to make sure the audience understands. So when we're talking about this version of retail, we're not talking about you just walking around the store and saying hi to people. You're pricing product.
Yes.
Your father goes out overseas sometimes, you told
He
me,
did when I was
buys the
younger.
product.
Yes. Yes.
And then you guys have to price that.
Yes.
And it's not in some digital system with a tag or a
Nope.
barcode or UPC, I guess is the
No.
word. I mean,
He
that's
was-
incredible.
He would spend hours. I mean, he always had his yellow piece of paper with he's very organized.
Trusty old
handwriting,
yellow
and,
paper. Yeah.
his yellow notepad and everything, just product, price, what he sold it for.
Wow.
And he would go and do all the inventory and
Right, because it's not just
Yes.
pricing, and then you have to
Yes.
inventory.
But I mean, they had over 100 stores prior to this beach store. When I was in like elementary school through, I think it was middle school when they went out of business.
Okay.
But that business was, they had that for a really long time. So that was like
Yeah.
a five and dime before the Dollar Tree became a thing.
When you look back on that now, I mean, those are skills that you don't really get taught in a school. Inventory pricing,
Definitely
moving
not.
product,
Yeah.
merchandising and advertising, like where do you put them in the store versus
Yes.
those things are so much different than a regular teenager's. Like, we live in Harford County, right? If
Mhm.
one of our children went to Harford Mall to work at Eric and
Yes.
Eagle or something,
Yes.
they're not necessarily doing that. They might be there on a weekend for inventory, but they're just using a gun and
Yes.
tagging. It's so much different. That's a side of the business that you can appreciate
It is.
so
And
much differently.
I still to this day hand tag like all
I was
my,
gonna ask
all
you,
my items with my, with my business.
and it's so natural to you, probably.
Yes, it's
Thanks,
like-
Dad.
Yeah, when I'm tagging things, it just the sound of the gun just makes me
Oh, the
think-
click, 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 click,
yes,
click. I
think
know
of-
that sound.
think of back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're in high school
Mhm.
and you've developed this skill set, begrudgingly maybe with your age at that time, but
Yes.
you were learning these things. So get me through high school then. So because I know something special happens when you're 18. So get me to from like 14 to 18. You said Dad, the stores went,
So when I was in
Changed,
middle
right?
school, he closed they were called D.E. Jones and D&K
Okay.
stores. So he closed those, and then that's when they opened the store. The building that they opened the store in had been in the family since I want to say like the 1920s.
okay. So I'm interested to know how you got to what I know's coming at 18. So was there apparel in your father's stores?
There
Or was it tchotchke type things?
It was tchotchke stuff, but the T-shirts were becoming more and more of a thing. Like Jersey Shore had started on MTV. My dad would always go to other boardwalks, trade shows.
Check out the scene.
I did go to trade shows with him, which was a cool experience. We would go to Atlantic City to the big just apparel show, and you'd see like these massive embroidery machines and screen printing, and it was wild. So
Something caught your eye with that.
yes, and so he was like, "Let's do this T-shirt store." He wanted to kind of branch away from. It was called Treasure Grove,
Okay.
the store with all of the beach stuff.
Nice.
And so he decided to open Maxie's Tops and Tees.
Maxie's Tops and Tees.
Yes. So that was the start of.
And that was the door you walked through into.
Yes.
Am I using the right word? Apparel? Is that the correct term?
I say apparel industry.
Okay.
Printing.
So what about that kind of caught your eye? Because you've been exposed to a lot of different things. I mean, that store probably had a huge range of items.
Yes. It did.
What about the apparel line kind of caught your eye?
So I always like from when I was very young, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to.
That's the link.
I wanted to go to school at the fashion industry
Okay.
of technology, I think it's called.
Okay.
In New York City. I grew up about an hour and a half from New York City.
Yeah.
So that was a dream of mine when I was younger. So I think that's always caught my eye. And definitely with Maxie's, we would go into New York City and do all the buying. So I learned how to, buy the jewelry, the handbags. We sold other things, not just the T-shirts, but just being in that whole.
So when you use the
Environment.
term buying, I don't know
Yes.
that the average person understands that because a store that sells something retail, has to get it unless you
Yes.
have a little worm in the background with using the cotton and or the silk, right?
Yes.
When you say buying, are you going to manufacturers in bulk? You said New York
So
City,
we would
right?
go to New York
Tell me
City.
about
We would
that.
go to there's different districts in New York City. So like the jewelry district, we would go to, and they sell just cheap, dollar earrings. You could buy 30, 60, 90. We would buy hundreds of pieces
Yeah,
and price them that way. And handbags, variety of handbags. And we would just get boxes and boxes of them and just hang them up all around the top of the
yeah,
store. We did have some sort of like small tchotchke stuff in Maxie's, but it was really just apparel.
okay.
And at one point, we did shoes and bathing suits, but bathing suits are tough because
Mm,
people are different size bottoms than they are tops.
yeah,
And a lot of, when you're buying like that, a lot of it is just a set. It's a small set, it's a medium set,
yeah.
and that's really hard to
So are
sell.
you feeling materials, deciding what you guys want to do? There's a cost, obviously, to the different type of materials. Are you having those conversations?
Not so much with this. This was he did the like bathing suit and shoe buying just because he had connections with that from just his years in retail. But I did like the handbags, the jewelry,
Ah,
and
okay.
he did all of the picking up the transfers. We had hundreds of each design, and I just remember him like building that store basically from nothing to what it was, and he stapled every single design we had to the wall so that when you
Mm,
walked in it was just a wall of designs, and you
yeah,
would go pick out what number it was, and then you'd come over and say, hey, can I get number
yeah.
one on a black large? And that's how I started. He would buy the transfers already made with the design
And
on
you
them.
told me what a transfer is. Tell our audience what a
So a
transfer
transfer is
is.
an ink like printed decal basically,
Okay.
and it's on
Is it fair to say template is a synonym to that?
yes, it could be, and
Okay.
it's on a transfer paper so that when it's pressed with the heat and the pressure,
That's it.
it leaves the design behind.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yes,
Okay, so at this point, you are graduated high school. We got you through that, and you went to college, right? Community college, I think you
I did.
said.
Yes, I
And
went to
so, what
community
was your
college.
major at community college?
So I was going to school to be a teacher.
Well, that has
Actually,
nothing to do with the family business.
no, I
Interesting.
I had no interest at the
That's
time
a
in
turn.
any sort of yes. I think my knowing I wasn't going to make it at fit in New York City and be a fashion designer, I was like,
Okay,
okay, let's do something else. And education and teaching was, yeah, I had teachers growing up that were very inspirational to me, and I just love kids, and I figured, well, let's try, let's go to school to be a teacher.
but you're
And
in school for a teacher, and I know where
yes,
this goes. And okay, you're
yes,
in your head. You're like, well, I'm going to try something
yes,
different. Fashion world's not going to work out. You had inspirational teachers. I can see where you're going with
yeah,
there, but obviously, Maxie's is seasonal.
yes.
So then, what did you do in the off seasons? Because your work ethic, I know you weren't going to sit at home and twiddle thumbs. So what were
So
you doing in the off season?
so I started working at an orthodontist
That's
office.
a left turn.
Yeah,
Okay, this is
yes.
all right. A lot of turns here.
And I really, really liked it.
Okay,
And I could definitely at the time see myself working in that field.
okay,
So I worked there for, I don't know, 6, 7 months. And during that time, I was with my now ex husband, and his job in New Jersey, we met in New Jersey. He wasn't from New Jersey, he was actually from Pittsburgh. And he was working at a Fort Monmouth, it's called.
wait, hold up. He's not a Steelers fan, is he?
He is,
Oh,
yes.
Doree, you're such a great person. Oh,
Well, now he's my ex husband. So,
oh,
yes.
we're good.
Yes,
All right, we're
we're
high
good.
fiving.
We're
We're high
good.
fiving.
Yes,
Okay, good.
we're good.
Got it.
And
Got
my
it.
kids are Ravens fans. So
Whew.
it all
All right.
works out.
Raising
Yes.
him right.
Yes. But I knew that if I was going to be with him, marry him, have a life together, that I would be moving to Maryland. His job was going to be moving him to APG.
Okay.
So I told my parents.
When is this in time?
This was 2000. So we found all of this. I found all of this out in 2010, end of 2010. But
Okay.
then 2000, yeah. So our move here was in 2011.
Got it.
April 2011. So I had to tell the orthodontist office, like, hey, look, I love it here, but things have changed, and
Yeah.
I'm going to move.
And you were also in school, so like, what about that?
I was. So I decided to put school on hold.
Okay.
when I moved here, I ended up going to school to be a dental assistant. Figured I'd start with
Which is
dental
close
assisting.
to what the
Yes,
dentistry.
dental assisting, and then do the schooling and the testing for. Because really, you can go work at an orthodontist office with a dental assisting certificate, but then you learn most of your experience at the orthodontist
Okay.
office.
Hands on.
So yes, so moved here April 2011. Finished. Well, I started school in the summer. Ended up getting pregnant, and I still finished school. Got
Amazing.
all of my certifications for it, and then decided that
While you're pregnant.
yes,
Wow.
decided
Good for you.
the pay just wasn't going to cut childcare and all of those expenses. So I still to this day I could go back at any time. I've maintained all of my certifications and everything like that, but decided to just be a stay-at-home mom and
Which is the hardest job in the world.
so I just did that. And I was a stay-at-home mom with my first, and then I got pregnant with my second. While I was pregnant with Jonathan, I was going to school to be a certified makeup artist in the state of Maryland, which I love makeup. I've always had a passion for makeup and doing my friends' makeup, my own makeup. So I was like,
I mean, that's part of the
like,
fashion industry.
yeah, I was
That's
like,
still within your wheelhouse.
yes. I was like, why not? You know, certified. I can do it on the weekends. I can do it in the evenings. And so I did that for a little bit, but I still really didn't love being away from the kids on the weekends and being away
Sure.
from the family unit. And so 2016, well, Christmas, my birthday in January, I was gifted a Cricut.
Ah,
And
the Cricut.
I know everyone has a Cricut.
Yeah.
But I really started Designs by Doree in 2016, and it was just a small kind of side hustle at the time. Did T-shirts, did cups, did stickers, did all of the things. With
Small
Cricut.
batch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like one-offs, gifts for people, teacher gifts.
Cool. You're kind of
And
honing
then-
your skills in.
Yes, and I loved that it was something that I could do while the kids were sleeping, and I would just stay up till I don't know 1, 2 o'clock in the morning just getting.
Did you
orders
enjoy
done.
it?
I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it, and it never felt like this is just a job, and I'm just I hate it. I'm miserable. No, I loved it. I didn't mind. I would stay up sometimes, not even realizing the time, and so
That's huge, Doree. That
yes,
all of a sudden you found something that transitioned, right? Because you have all these different industries that you were kind of dipping your toes
Yes.
in. One from the family, which
Yes.
wasn't your industry, but
yes,
you were supporting your family business. Then you started getting into some healthcare things,
Mhm.
and then the fashion rose and fell, but you kind of came back to it with cosmetology,
Yes.
and now you start doing these Cricut designs, and you're staying up in the middle of the night just you're so excited, and the time just goes, right? So I'm starting to hear that
Yes.
you found a passion project instead of a
did.
side hustle. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
It did. It
Okay.
definitely became. I was like, oh wow, like this is a real deal, and I started to get larger orders, which I still did with a Cricut. It wasn't easy, but
What's a large order for you?
I would get orders for. I remember a automobile detailing company. That was probably one of the largest orders I did with a Cricut, and then
Okay.
a friend of mine's son has a blood disease, so she does like
Oh wow.
blood drives for him. So she had me do shirts for that.
And how many units are we talking about in those orders? Just
So
give me a number.
the first one was 500 pieces.
Oh my God.
The
So
second
you have
one-
a single Cricut
The
unit.
second one was 250 pieces, and those were like
Woo.
all night jobs.
How many can you knock out in a 5 or 6 hour period?
It would take me probably to finish an order that big. It would take me a week. I would
Okay.
say.
But that doesn't sound like a long time. I
no,
mean,
no.
500 for a week. You're rocking.
I've always maintained a really fast turnaround time. People
Okay.
that know me and buy from me, and they know, like, go to Doree, like, you need something, your kid's birthday's coming up on Saturday, and you forgot to get a T-shirt, I can have it usually the next day. Even with the Cricut, I would say, sure, like, I have onesies, I have T-shirts, I've always kept stuff on hand. I just knew that from all my years.
And you were
in
doing that
retail.
with the most simple equipment you had.
Yes,
You were
yes.
maintaining your obligations to those deadlines.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I see what's coming. Go
I
ahead.
taught myself how to use like the print and cut feature on Cricut, so that was kind of like that's their version of like a T-shirt transfer. So they like make paper for dark shirts, make paper for light shirts, and then you print the design, and the Cricut like cuts the design out. So that was like basically the start of the transfers again for me. Just
Yeah.
a different version of it.
Which you had seen a little bit from Maxis.
Yes, yes. so I did offer that. I had like certain customers that love those kind of shirts for the kid's birthday. So I could put action figures or, characters from movies, things like that.
Heck yeah.
And then I realized, like, okay, I'm doing this, but I need better machinery, better equipment. So I really need to, bust my butt and hustle and sell a lot and save. And I I knew I needed more. I knew I needed better.
So I'm always fascinated from the business side of things, like not the human asset part, where your volume reaches a point, and it could be any industry,
Mhm.
where the equipment is being outpaced by the orders, right?
Yes.
The demand is increasing to the point where your equipment is taking too much of your time. Okay, so in a timeline, we're getting close to pre-pandemic time at this point. So I know that changed everybody's business.
Yes.
So I have two questions for you.
Okay.
What did the pandemic onset do to your business? And then did it affect your relationship at all?
Okay.
So wherever you want to go with that.
Okay. So for my business, I was definitely nervous. I mean, the world was in a state of
Hmm.
what's going on, what's going to happen. And I really thought, okay, I'm not going to be selling. Nobody's going to want to buy T-shirts right now. Nobody's going to want to be spending money.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was the best my business with the Cricut could did. I sold.
It blew up.
Yeah, it did. I remember just all of a sudden getting, hundreds of orders a day coming in on Etsy for
A day?
a day
Whew.
for these gray sweatshirts. They were really soft, comfortable. They don't even make them anymore. They actually discontinued the sweatshirt style
Oh my gosh.
post pandemic. And I made them with a Cricut. They said simple and script, just breathe. And
Oh my gosh.
they were the
Little did you know how.
yes.
Oh,
Posting
that gave me chills.
Posting that and that being like that got me my business through the pandemic.
And unfortunately, I've heard a lot of parallels where the businesses, different kind, had to change, right? Evolve might be the more appropriate word to be able to handle the market in that pandemic time. Unfortunately, a lot of relationships had the other end for whatever reason.
Yeah.
What happened between you and your husband at that time, as far as your relationship? Not the details per se, but like,
Yes.
did that have a strain on your relationship?
It definitely did. He was
Because you're working longer hours. You're getting hundreds of orders a day. You got babies to feed.
yes.
He's got to do his job, and then you guys are just.
So it definitely was the start of the end of our marriage.
Oh,
He was very busy and consumed with his master's at the time, so he was spending just as late hours at his computer in his office.
he's studying. You're knocking hundreds of Crickets out.
Yeah, I'm knocking orders out, and we were just two ships passing in the night. Like there was just no. We had other issues, and honestly, I just say that the pandemic just exacerbated those for sure.
Well, that's kind of what I hear a lot is that there might have been a tiny fire of something that wasn't supposed to be there, but it was there anyway. And then with the pandemic, it grew. And then, hopefully, you're not the only relationship casualty. So what I'm hearing is your business is growing at a wonderfully alarming rate due to some of the things we mentioned with the pandemic and you kind of hitting a hot streak with some of your content, and it began to grow. So at some point, your demand had to outweigh your actual hours in a day to produce these things. Did you upgrade equipment at some point? You had to, right?
I did.
Or more people because there's only one of you. What was the next jump?
I would have friends come over and help me because with the Cricut, it's vinyl, so you have to weed every individual sheet that comes out. So, I would spend hours. Sometimes pull all-nighters and sleep for like two hours in the morning before I had to go to kids' school for something. And I just remember I can't do this for much longer.
Yeah, all-nighters when you're in college.
Yes.
And you might have to skip a class the next morning are a little different than all-nighters when you have kids that wake up at 6:30, need to get fed and go to school.
This is not
good.
This is not healthy. I was not unhappy. I was still happy because I loved what I did, but I just knew, okay, I really need to continue to hustle, continue to save. And then in 2023, I made big purchase. My big business purchase, first one. And that was the DTF printer.
Okay, so how big is that thing?
So size wise, like what it's probably 5, 6 times the size of a regular printer.
Mm. So in terms of an appliance, are we talking about the size of a microwave?
A little bit bigger.
A little bigger than a microwave, so not a stove, but a microwave. So it's got to have its own table at that point.
It does, yes. It
Okay.
does. And it was something that I knew bring it to my business. I was one of the first in the area to offer not only shirts with these kind of transfers on them, but I could also sell the transfers.
Mm.
So, yes. So
another layer.
Yes, I could add that to it too.
You could actually create transfers.
I could create, yes. People could say, hey, look, like I do the same thing, or I have this business, but I, don't want to order from because online you can buy the transfers in like these big long rolls.
Sure.
But then you have to wait for the shipping. And so girls would reach out to me with similar businesses and say, hey, look, like, can you make 10, 15, 20 of these prints for me? And a lot of times I could get them done same day, have them pick up same day. And so that was great.
What kind of time did it cut down on your apparel creation? Again, opposed to the Cricut.
So I was no longer having to spend hours weeding the material. And I didn't have to, say, hey, like to my friends, want to come over and like just
have a Cricut party?
Like, really tiny pieces. Yes. So I did have a friend that would come over and help me because there's a process to it.
Okay.
It prints, and then it's wet ink. So you then have to put this powder on the back of it, and there's an oven that you put the print in that bakes it, and then the back of the transfer itself becomes almost like an orange peel texture.
Wow.
So once it gets to that point, then it's safe to put it on the shirt.
I'm imagining this little like shirt factory in your house,
When I was going through my divorce, it was just me and the kids in the house. So I kind of changed up the rooms upstairs.
Got a little more space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I made the guest room into like my printing, just solely printing.
Yeah.
Room. Because the boys at the time went
upgraded in square footage.
Yes. They went from having separate bedrooms to wanting to share a bedroom.
Nice.
So then I was able to move the guest room and still have that other room for just printing. And it just all happened really fast. I was getting orders for not just the t-shirts, but it was fall time, so Halloween, then Christmas was coming, and ended up investing in a new printer, which was it was actually half the cost less than the last machine, which made me nervous because like
you get what you pay for sometimes.
Yes, but the reviews were amazing, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
And so it recently came. It came about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I started printing right away. And the quality is unreal. Oh, it's amazing. It's
awesome.
So much.
I could see in your eyes.
So much better. I was so happy. I was so relieved.
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't know. I prayed for and hoped for the best, but I didn't know what was going to happen.
I mean, when you purchase anything and your market is at X and you find a similar product at X divided by 2, it's exciting, but it's scary for anything, right? Even a trivial item.
It was.
And there's so much on the internet that is not what it's meant to be or not what it's really advertised to be. So you took a chance, ended up doing it. Consumer reviews gave you the confidence
TikTok
to pick
videos,
it up. TikTok videos.
YouTube videos, and just seeing people post their own prints. And I was like, wow, the colors are amazing. I mean, I brought you this.
You brought me something?
I made this for you.
Oh, I like treats.
But just the difference in the white from the last printer to this printer is amazing. It's very bright. And so for not being a screen printed item, this is the DTF, direct film. So it's printed on the
DTF
film.
is direct to film.
Direct to
okay.
Film, yes.
I'll show the camera that. And I don't have a logo, but she pulled that off and said, connected to the web.
I am very last minute. So last night I was like, let me, dig around. I, was watching.
So Doree sent me a text. She's like, what size are you? And I thought she was going to grab one of her inventory. And I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. So I was like, let me just make a random logo.
Oh, well, that's exciting. I don't get treats. Yes, a couple weeks ago, I got hit over the head with a sword.
I did see that.
So it's nice to get a treat. Yes. So I'm excited about that.
So I figured you could wear it out.
So we just heard your whole story about how life put you in this spot. And, I have a faith version of that. I know you do too. God put us where we were supposed to be, and that road is windy. You had a couple left turns that you chose from, and he's got a couple turns for us. But now we're here. You've made some progress. You had some steps back. You're going forward, and now we're here. We're here where you have the right equipment,
Yes.
the right knowledge, the experience. I want to talk about how you advertise your business because you do something very special that I'd like to share. That a lot of people wish they did or tried and they can't get it. So I'd love to hear about your marketing and advertising if you like.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Yes.
So you mentioned something a minute ago. You said TikTok, which
Yes.
globally different conversation.
Yeah.
More domestically, you mentioned that. So how good for your business has social media been? And I know there's a whole learning curve to even get good at it, but
Yes.
has it helped your business grow over time?
So I really started pushing my business on TikTok in the fall.
Okay.
I enlisted the help of a friend who does that as one of her side jobs. She's very good at social media and TikToks. And I was like, hey, come over. And she really made it easy to not feel nervous and uncomfortable in front of the camera
Okay.
because I was just doing it with my friends. So
Yeah.
it was like we were just hanging out, having a good time. And we would film these different dancing ones. Like it was Halloween time. So I switched into different Halloween sweatshirts and did funny dances with them to really
Yeah.
just, catch people's attention as
Okay.
they were swiping and scrolling. But I will say TikTok is not where I get the most sales and the most orders.
Okay.
Um,
That's good for businesses to hear because
Yes.
businesses think that you have to have this massive presence.
I
Not everybody has to.
I think that if you sell on TikTok, then you should sell through TikTok Shop or push your business that way. And I haven't gone down that path yet, but word of mouth for me is really number one in how I get the most of my
Which is
customers.
contingent on you creating an
Yes.
experience that
Yes.
someone wants to talk
Yes.
about, which is
And
huge.
one of the biggest things that I've really been working on lately is trying to get orders for schools, orders for businesses, orders that are on a larger scale. Because I think people look at me as, oh, Doree, the girl that makes the birthday T-shirts, or Doree, the Designs by Doree, the girl that
Oh,
makes the bachelor party T-shirts. And
small
really,
batch.
yes, and really, I can do the same scale as other local big businesses. But I just because I don't have the storefront or I don't have 10 employees, I can still make that happen and usually at a better price than they can.
I was about to
So,
say, you also don't
yes.
have the overhead.
Yes.
So your
So,
price point, it has to be competitive with that. So
yeah.
I can tell you as a layperson to your business, I would make the incorrect assumption that you couldn't provide that large
Yeah.
order at the price point where it made sense. Like I've purchased T-shirts as a
Mhm.
business, and even when you get three, they're cheaper than when you get one, right?
Yes.
But I've seen sometimes, and I've never purchased it, but I've seen where if you get 100, the price is like,
Yes.
oh, it's like
Yes.
freakishly low.
I was just giving somebody a price yesterday and it was like 144 plus pieces and there is a major price difference,
Oof.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I feel like if you order with me, you're getting, a more personal experience. I'm not just signing off, Doree Designs by Doree on the bottom of an email. I will pick up the phone. I will reach out to you. We could talk, post your picking up of your order or dropping off your order. Like that connection is not just, a quick email
And what if I
response.
get something and it's not what I thought it
Okay.
was? Tell me about that.
So
I think there's an advantage to you being a small businesswoman
Yes,
versus corporate.
I'm very, I want you to be happy. I will do whatever,
I mean, your business relies on
I
the satisfaction of your
recently
clients.
recently had somebody purchase on Etsy, and while I put my size charts and everything for tanks and t-shirts, I think sometimes people are like, oh, well, I'm an extra large, so
They don't pay attention to it.
I'm going to
Right.
order the extra large. So I've had customers reach out to me on there and they're like, hey, I ordered this, but it doesn't fit. And normally sales are final on Etsy. You
Yeah,
buy it, that's it.
that's my
But
experience, right?
I've always, in all the years that I've done this, I have no problem, what size, look at the size chart, tell me what size you need, and I will send you the right size. I want you to be happy. I
Wow.
want you to wear it. And I always tell them, please gift the one that doesn't fit to a friend, donate it.
Yeah.
Just,
That's sweet because it's not even your fault. A size chart issue is not your fault.
No, but that's just always how I've been. And, it's not like it happens 10 times a day where I'm out a bunch
Yeah.
of money. It's very rare, but I want people to be like, oh, wow, she went above and beyond. I still, I don't have to just get rid of this t-shirt. I can wear it, that's always been
That's
very,
huge.
very
And
important to
if
me.
you call an 800 number style company,
Yes.
they're not going to be like, no problem. We'll send you a new one.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen,
No.
especially on
So
an order. No way.
I don't like to deal with sending the, return label. Like, no, please keep it. Please give it to
Gift
a
it.
friend. Give it to a friend. Tell them
That's
where you
sweet.
got it, and I will send you one that fits you. And I think that's just also something I learned working in a family business. It's
Yeah.
just how important customer service is.
It is
And
very important.
yes,
And I think we're living in a world, and I say this on almost every podcast that I record with the guests, but I can't say it enough. I feel like in this environment in 2025, people are losing that intimacy with the company that they buy from. And when I say business
yeah,
intimacy, I kind of made that up, but it's that closeness and
yes,
that feeling of that your order matters.
yeah,
And that's why people buy from mom and pop shops in the last 60 years. But when you look at the environment now, even in my business and in the loan world,
mhm,
they lose that connection. It's
yeah,
all technology and
yes,
ordering and convenience, but
yes,
you're in an industry where the details matter,
yeah,
customer service matter.
mhm,
That's so special.
yeah,
So you kind of already said it already, but I wanted to ask you, when you did kind of answer it, but I'll have you double back
mhm,
on it. Who's a great customer for you? And obviously there are one-on-ones, birthday parties, you mentioned
yes,
bachelor parties, but
yes.
your success has been based on the larger orders.
Mhm.
Who's a good customer for you if they're thinking about an apparel need where they want some kind of design or template, which we use those words, not,
Yes.
transfer. What's a good customer for you, Doree?
So locally, I have worked with K&B Bridal in downtown Bel Air.
Oh, great
I
company. Their owners are
Yes,
amazing.
yes, I love Bridget and Chris. They're great. I have made their T-shirts that they give away to brides when they buy their dress, or
Oh,
if they do giveaways. I've done tote bags for them. Love them. I recently started working with Raise the Bar Dance Studio, and we have worked out. She's purchased on a large scale for me, but she's also offered the designs that I've come up with working with her on her website. So,
wow.
she can give the parents the opportunity to buy
That's
sweatpants,
great.
sweatshirts, and not have to buy, 100 pieces or 200 pieces. We just throw the mock ups up on her website and we do the ordering that way. So, that's also another great thing is I'm not saying to you, you have to buy 100 gray shirts.
Mm.
If you want to buy 100 shirts, but you want, 50 to be white and 50 to be gray, no problem.
Oh, that's
So
huge.
I'm really flexible and easygoing with that kind of stuff.
Now, recently, I think you shared the other day when having coffee, you just had landed a really awesome client, a nonprofit, I think you said it was?
Yes, I did. I'm very excited about it because there's a connection with an old friend, so we kind of reconnected,
Those are the
and
best.
we stayed in touch. That's why social media is so great
That's
because
the good side of social media.
she lives in Florida, but I feel
Oh,
like I still like you just know what's going on in her life because of
oh,
social media. So she reached out to me because she sees what I post about my t-shirts, and she's like, I think that seeing your posts are a sign that we should be working together.
oh,
So
that's
yes,
fantastic.
so she brought me up to speed on what she's been doing with her nonprofit, and there is a Maryland chapter of it. It's the Maryland Lighthouse chapter, and they provide emotional, educational, and financial support.
But you have to write that down. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
that's huge.
for pregnancy, infant, and child loss. So
Oh,
it's a very
you know that I've
yes,
had a recent what's the word I'm looking for? Awakening of how
yes,
prevalent that is around us, and it's
yes,
it's the biggest secret that shouldn't be a secret
I
because
know,
you got to talk about it.
yeah,
And I feel like, again, not to get all sappy, but I feel like God had a plan, right,
hmm
to put you
yes,
with that friend. She's
yes,
in Florida. You're doing your thing. We talked about your story, and for you guys to reconnect, and
yes,
you have a chance to spread that message through your apparel.
yes. And
That's
so
amazing.
when she said to me, "Hey, I have this Maryland chapter," and I was like, "Oh, where in Maryland?" Because I mean, you
Yeah.
could be
Hmm.
anywhere. And she was like, "Oh, well, they're doing an event at the Angel Park in Perry Hall, I think it's
Yeah.
called." And I was like, "That's 10 minutes from my house. Like,
Yeah.
what are the chances?" So I'm
We
very
call that
excited.
Smaltimore. I know
Yes,
you're a
Baltimore.
transplant
Yeah,
Marylander, but we
I
call it
am.
a small world in Baltimore, Smaltimore.
I'm very excited to be working with her. And what's been great is, and I feel like an advantage to working with me over the larger companies is yesterday she reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, look, we sold out the sweatshirts that they ordered a bunch of sweatshirts, a bunch of t-shirts, and they're going to be offering them on Sunday at their event." And she said, "We sold out." She was like, "Is there any way that we can order a couple more sweatshirts. I said, sure, if we get the order in by today, then we can still have them for Sunday. And I feel like
Oh my gosh.
most companies would be like, oh no, 4 to 6 week turnaround. Like,
Yes.
and that's just not how I am at all. I mean, she just came to me with this. I even said to her, hey, look, I know the event's coming up. We haven't really discussed the final mock-ups. I got them all to her and I said, we still have time. Let's do it. And that was like a week, 2 weeks ago. And their orders are done and ready on my desk and ready to be delivered for
That's
Sunday.
the beauty of small business.
And I think that's definitely something people need to remember about me.
So you kind of hinted at my next question for you is what types of businesses, not necessarily what type of business for you
Yeah.
at customers, what type of other businesses could you imagine partnering with where you could grow your business and obviously help them market and advertise as well?
Yes.
What comes to your mind when I ask you that question?
So, I mean, it could be anything.
I was going to say it's
It
almost
could be
anybody.
anything. My fiance Jeff just started a CCW training class, and
He's having a women class, right?
yes, he's having an all.
We're going to have
class.
we'll have him on.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I think he'll be great.
Awesome.
He's doing. He's starting to do his website, and I mean, my stuff that I post for sale is not really relatable to
That industry.
yes.
Yes.
So he said, well, hey, look, like, come up with designs and we can post them on my website. My, friends will buy them. People that come to the classes, I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll be interested. So he also gave me the opportunity to come up with t-shirt designs for the girls that are coming to the upcoming class. So I created like just a special t-shirt if you sign
A
up.
feminine line.
Yeah, if you sign up, then you're going to get this t-shirt at the class. So, I mean, really, I can create the designs for you if you want to, offer swag or merch or
I love
anything,
those words.
or if you just want something to wear every day, like to the office.
Or a podcast shirt.
Yes, or a podcast shirt.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
So I think in that answer is the broad scope of how wonderful it is to have you in our community because you're not serving a niche. It is a massive opportunity to grow your business and wear the kids say merch, wear the merchandise around for your business. That could be anything.
Yesterday,
right?
I had a pressure washing company reach out to me.
Okay.
And a woman reached out to me for her husband's contracting company. So it's
Night and day.
really anything. One wanted like jersey, like what's the word I'm looking for? Dry fit t-shirts for their pressure washing.
Yep.
And then the other one, her husband wanted polos. So it's like it could be anything. It could be workout, a gym, tanks for your gym.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
I love that. And I think the creativity that you offer such a broad potential customer base is an advantage. And when you pair that with your small business mentality of wanting every customer to be taken care of and satisfied, that's just a beautiful thing. And I love that you're based right out of here at Harford County, which is so great. Okay, great. So you've given me a lot about your story, a lot about the business. And I hope that a lot of people, latch on to that idea. I want to ask you two questions. One is super personal, and the other one is sort of personal, and it's kind of dorky, but I'm a nerd, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Let's have fun with the layup, and then I'll ask you a tough question, and then we'll get you out of here.
Okay.
Also, I ask everybody on the show. I know you know this. It's kind of fun actually, because I'm about, let's say, 20 recordings in. People are starting to know that this is coming, and I'm such a freaking nerd, but I'm owning my nerd. And I love to hear some of the answers. So no pressure to you. And my lead in here is that Marvel Comics, DC Comics, it's a big deal now. Everybody, you have boys, so you're in that sphere. I love the idea of a superpower, and the comic books give that to us. And the point of it is that everybody kind of has their own superpower, and that's the theme in those movies. So not everybody has discovered it yet, though. There is an origin story. So if you haven't discovered it yet, it's okay. What is your superpower?
It's tough. I'm between two.
Okay, you've got two.
Yes.
Awesome.
I guess I have two. I would love to be able to fly.
Okay.
Flying
You'd love to be able to fly.
Yes, flying would be number one. I think that would be this unbelievable experience.
Yep.
And then being invisible.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Why be invisible?
But I also thought about it too, like you could put yourself in situations where you might hear things or see things you don't want to. So I think that's why that's
So
number
being the
two.
inner nerd I have, invisibility is two-sided. There's the I don't want to be seen version of invisibility, and then there's the I want to view without being distracted, as being a distraction.
I think I look at it as like I could disappear into like just have just 100% me time, alone time,
Okay.
not be seen, not be heard, not be asked, hey mom, look at this,
Yeah.
or, you know, yeah. So I think that's number
So
one.
in your real life right now,
Mhm.
what would you say is your superpower right now that you actually have in your life? What is something that is so special to you that it's your superpower? I'll give you a layup.
Okay.
Mine is that I can meet somebody for 5 minutes and they can feel like they know me for 20 years.
Okay.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be like crazy flying eye thing.
Okay.
But what is your superpower right now, do you think?
I think that I'm a very empathetic person,
Okay.
and
That's not
I,
easy. So if you are,
if
that's a big deal.
I'm usually the friend or the, person to call on when times are hard, and, or, even if times are great, call me, like,
Yeah.
let's meet up, let's talk. Like, I think that's
So
definitely,
empathy would be your
yes,
superpower.
yeah, empathy.
I've had a few guests say that too. And just because I've had a few guests that say that, I know how rare it is though. But that's
It can be
in this
hard because
crazy
it can
world.
be, yeah,
Yeah.
it can be, also take a toll on you too. But I
Mm.
also think it gives you different perspectives about people, and
Yeah.
just different ways to look at life and what somebody else, is going through, how you can relate it to what's going on in your life, and, you can help them, but they also can help you. So,
The magic of empathy is that you can imagine being in their shoes.
yes.
And that is a superpower because you can really change the way you navigate your life if you just imagine what a man's shoes feel like
Yeah.
before you have a situation.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay, well, that's great. You
Yeah.
got two you wanted to have
Yes.
and one I know you have. That's a
Yes.
wonderful, it's a beautiful superpower. Okay, that was the easy question. Let's go to the hard question.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I love your superpower answer. But we had a conversation when we met over coffee, which I really enjoyed. You know that, and you shared something with me that I think is so relevant to not just your story, but your ability to handle adversity in your business. And I feel like it has its fingers in so much of the way you've built your business. And I want to know if it's okay to kind of go there with you because I think it's very special. I know that during the pandemic, we talked about this, how, your relationship did not make it out because there were some things you were dealing with and you're wearing so many hats, right? You're a mom at that point. You've got a business that needs as much time as it can give, but you can't give every day. You did try a couple times by not
Yes.
going to sleep.
Yes.
But you also had this health journey in the background going on that very few people have experienced. And it was a major part of who you were and you are and who you're going to be in the future. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm ready.
I think it's really special
I
because it's very unique for you.
I've never talked about it publicly before. My friends know, my close friends know, my family knows, but it's not something that I've ever really discussed. But
So let's talk about it.
let's talk
So
about
what's
it.
this health journey that you told me about? Let's kind of talk about it.
So in 2018, I
Okay.
had gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
I was overweight my entire life. I was, I was always the one. I was smiling in pictures, but I was never really.
On the
I
inside.
was never really happy. No, I I knew that for my kids, I wanted to be healthier. Just in my relationships in general, I wanted to be healthy and happy. And I said to myself, by age 30, I want to be, in better shape and be able to keep up with my kids. Now, I remember, I think one of the biggest things that drove me to do it was my kids love to go to Dutch Wonderland.
That's so much fun.
We spent so much
So
time
much
at Dutch
fun.
Wonderland. And there was a time when it was just Matthew and I don't think Jonathan was born yet. And Matthew and I went on one of the roller coasters there, not one of the big ones, one of the smaller ones.
Okay.
And I thought we were locked into the roller coaster. I never would have imagined that when we came down the first drop, the entire thing would come unlatched. And it was because of I never should have been like okayed to go on that ride. And maybe the person didn't feel comfortable saying, hey, look, like
It's not safe.
yeah, you can't. I don't know if they just weren't, educated enough to know that. And I just remember coming down the first drop and the entire bar coming up and having to hold Matthew with one hand and like hold myself so that we could just, it was a shorter, like of the smaller roller coasters there.
Still.
So it was, but it was terrifying because that, I don't know, 5-10 seconds felt like the longest
Eternity.
Yes. And so I just remember like coming up and around and yelling like, stop the ride, stop the ride.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was just one of like the major moments where I said to myself, I need to do something because I want to be able to go on these rides with my kids. Like there was one there that I couldn't go on at all. The like pirate ship back and forth one. I could not fit on that ride. So
Hmm.
I didn't want to have to tell my kids for the rest of their lives, like, no, sorry, mom can't do it. And so I
Oh
said to
my gosh.
myself, by age 30, I want to be, healthy and happy and actually really when I'm smiling, mean it.
Outside
And
and
yes,
inside.
and outside and inside. Yeah,
In
definitely. So
2018, how old were you?
I was 28.
Okay. So
So
you knew that it was going to take a little bit of time
yes.
to post procedure.
And I had some friends that had not gastric bypass. They had the sleeve surgery.
Okay.
But for other reasons, I went with the bypass. And
It's a major medical decision.
Yes. And it was very successful for me. I've lost over 100 pounds. I've maintained over 100-pound weight loss since then.
Oh my gosh.
And it's...
And that was 18. This is 2025. So this is
Yes.
significant amount of time
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah. And it's definitely not easy. I mean,
Man,
I
good for
still
you.
look in the mirror and I still see the,
Other version?
the old Doree. Yeah. And, it's definitely, it's helped my confidence. It's helped me to do things like this. I mean, this is sitting here with you is way out of my comfort zone, but, back prior to 2018, I never would have agreed to it. I never would have said, yeah, like, no, I would have been hiding. And, being on TikToks and in TikTok videos for my business and going out and meeting people
Just
and
exposure to
going,
other
yes,
people.
and going to different businesses and just, meeting you for coffee to, talk about this. Like, I definitely have the confidence and the security in myself now to do those kind of things. And I say I have no regrets, but really the only regret I have is that I didn't do it
I was going to ask you.
earlier in my life.
I was going to ask you that.
But it was, worth waiting until after I was done having kids, and it's honestly the best.
I feel like
that.
I look back sometimes on things that happen in my life and I'm like, oh, I wish this or wish that. Not from regret, but just,
Yeah.
Talking out loud. And then I'll kind of check myself and
Yeah.
realize that if those things happen at different points in my life, they
Yeah.
may not have had the impact that they did.
Definitely.
And I'm sensing that
Yeah.
maybe it was the right time. And
Yeah.
just health-wise, after the babies was
Yes.
perfect because you
Yeah.
weren't going to go through that major change again. And I
Yeah.
know it's so horrible on a woman's body, like just crazy with
Yeah.
pregnancy and childbirth,
Yes.
and even afterwards, obviously. But for you to have that journey is incredible. And I don't know if enough people have heard about that. I mean, I had an aunt that had it a long time ago, and she had a major transition, but there was a lot of health issues after because she did not maintain
And I
her
think there's
health
a
journey.
very negative stigma to it too, because it's not a really talked about thing.
Sure.
And, I've had people say to me, which is also one of the reasons why I don't talk about it, is because I've been told you're taking the easy way out or you took the easy way out. And
Oh, that's just
not one part of it is easy.
Mm.
Every day I still have, what's the word I'm looking for?
desire.
The desire, but like the food noise is a big thing that's talked about. The
Yeah.
food noise is still there, and I can't eat as much as I could back then, but I mean, it's
Are
definitely
there?
a struggle.
This is interesting, and if I'm off base, just
No,
tell
it's
me. You
okay.
won't make me upset. Are there parallels to your relationship with food, and then a relationship with an addict goes through with their drug of choice?
So I've definitely, my aunt pointed out something to me yesterday that, you could be addicted to smoking cigarettes, but you could just quit smoking.
Yeah.
Well, not just, but you could quit smoking.
You could remove it
Yes,
immediately.
you cannot smoke. And with food, you can't just take food away like you could take cigarettes away. So it's something that you have to, really work through. And it's something that in the time leading up to the surgery, they sit down and talk to you, and they really teach you that these addictions can, transpire to other things. People often have gambling addictions or shopping addictions because drinking substance abuse, because they've replaced the food
Replaced.
with something else.
Yep.
And so I think, having that knowledge and education prior to the surgery it's kept me mindful of, the things that can happen. But
And it gave you
I
this
mean,
confidence to go
yes,
into the business world.
yes,
Something you started in 2016.
yes,
So at that point, it was 2 years prior, and you're starting to have success with it.
yeah. I mean, I would
So,
go to vendor shows, and pictures would be taken, and I'd hate the way that I looked, and
oh yeah,
I wasn't comfortable really, like I wasn't comfortable in myself, and I'm meeting new people, and I look back at those pictures, and I'm like, I don't even know who that person was.
so you said something when we opened this segment about you just weren't happy inside. You were smiling on the outside.
Yeah,
Um, are you happy now, Doree?
I am.
Is there happiness inside of you now?
There is, and
Then that journey was worth it.
yeah,
As hard
definitely,
as it might have gotten, right? I mean,
definitely.
not to
It's
diminish
definitely
how.
no, it's definitely shaped me into the person that I am today.
And I
And
know for a fact that there is not 100% effectiveness post surgery
no,
for that community. So
and
the
I
fact
do
that you're
have
sitting here
yeah,
on your health journey means that you're so strong to be able to maintain those habits, because not everybody does.
yeah, and the friends that I talked about that had surgery. I mean, some of them didn't have the same success, and it's scary. It's scary to
Yep.
watch that, but it's also helped to push me to continue on, and so
You develop
it's
this control.
definitely yes, it's definitely helped a lot.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being
Yes.
comfortable enough to share that.
Yes.
And I think that it has shaped, I don't know if you realized in 18 how much it would shape your future. I mean, that's what, 8 years ago now,
Yeah.
whatever the number is. But
Definitely not.
again, I think that there's this plan that was in place, this destiny, that it was important to have it at that time so you can handle everything else you've had to handle in your life. Just imagine all the events you've done and running around trying to promote your business and all
Yes.
the time with your children. If you had that old Doree
Yeah.
and now you have this new Doree. But I think it's important to remember that it's still you,
Mhm.
but you've evolved, you've
Definitely.
changed, and you're such a
I'm
strong woman
Thank
to
you.
go through that. That's
Thank
incredible,
you.
and that you were comfortable to share that
Yeah,
on.
thank you for allowing me to
Oh my gosh, the
share
honor's
and to
mine.
be
And I think it's
definitely
relevant in your story. Not necessarily. I don't believe that I'm sensing you're defined by it. I'm believing
it's
you're
just a part of
defined
it.
by your journey afterwards.
Mhm.
And if you start off by wanting to be present in your children's lives, that's a noble cause. Nothing else matters. It's like no matter how many times the road curves,
Yeah.
stay on the road. So congratulations
Thank you.
being on that journey, and
Thank
I
you.
hope this is the first
Yes.
decade of many decades of your success with
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming here. We have hit so many topics. I am so excited to post this on YouTube and share with my audience your amazing story to come from where you are, where you had a family business, you having that struggle as a teenager, changing into starting a business, getting a small piece of equipment, growing your business, buying a new piece of equipment. The equipment didn't work. Doing a second piece of equipment. You're lacing in this major health journey. Pandemic hits. Your marriage doesn't last, but your resolve and your love for your children did.
Yes.
And then you have this business, you're out there, community, making people happy. I'm such a nerd about a lot of things, but I love your story
Thank you.
and I can't wait to share it.
Thank you.
I'm so blessed. I'm going to put Doree's information up on the channel in the description. We'll have some fun with some social media because there's a lot of fun things today we're going to talk about and clip up a little bit. But guys, thank you so much as always. Please give Doree the support you can. If you have any need for any apparel, swag, merch, fill your special word in there to put a logo. I'm going to try to get a logo for the podcast, and I'm coming to you to kind of, my family wants one, and we'll get it.
Yes.
Maybe you can help me out with that part too. That's the
Definitely.
next business
Yes.
idea, is creating the
Yes.
logo. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Joe Webb. This is Connected to the Web, and I tell every guest who's been on here that now you are connected to the web with two B's. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys again soon. Thank you very much.